right?
Mm-hmm. Welcome to another week of AB Boxing News Podcast, brought to you by Bars and Hoops Radio. This is Southpaw Mello, and I'm here with my boy.
With the nose hunter, the urban legend.
There we go. There we go. How you doing, Des? How's everything?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know what I'm saying? A little setback yesterday, but, going forward, I'll just like say rest in peace to my dad, Paul Cancelo. Definitely will not give up, and I will stay in the ring and never let any losses get to me.
My condolences, brother. My deepest condolences.
Thanks, bro.
So, let's see. It's fight week. We have Andy Ruiz and Chris Areola.
Man, that's it's gonna be serious. What you think? What's your predictions on that fight?
We're gonna touch on the predictions in a little bit, but let's just get like a little bit of a more of a snapshot of this week, right? So we also have on the zone Joseph Parker and Derek Chizora, right?
That's gonna be a good fight.
This weekend we had Emmanuel Navarrete versus Christopher Diaz, the old Puerto Rico versus Mexico. You know, we always see it in boxing. Did you catch that fight?
No, I did not see it.
Oh, I saw that fight. That fight was good. I think Navarrete was just too much for him. He was the champion, and he was hitting Christopher Diaz with everything. But Christopher Diaz didn't quit. He kept coming forward. They stopped it, I think, in the 11th round. But Christopher Diaz has an immense heart. Immense heart. He was taking shots and he didn't back down. He kept fighting back. He kept coming strong. But Navarrete was just too much for him. He couldn't handle it. So let's see what's next for Navarrete. He might have a possible showdown with Joet Gonzalez.
Okay.
So that might happen. Edgar Berlanga versus Demon Nicholson. He actually went the distance. There goes his first round knockout.
So what did I say last week?
You said his first round knockout streak was gonna end. You said it.
And the thing about it is, I said when you get a guy in front of him that can box, got a heart, and don't respect him, it's going to be a hard fight for him. Berlanga is a good fighter. Could box, he could punch.
Mm-hmm.
I saw holes. I saw holes in his stamina. I saw holes in his defense. I saw holes in his mobility. I saw that Demon Nicholson is not an elite fighter, but was enough for Edgar Berlanga. When you take away the big punch, what is there left? And that's what has to be questioned now. I'm hearing that they want to set up a fight with him and Gabrizado.
Ooh.
So, but I don't feel Gabrizado can go through with Berlanga. I think Gabrizato's been through too many wars with Gennady Golovkin, but he has experience. It'll be a good test for Berlanga. But Demon Nicholson showed the style. I don't feel like he can do anything with a Caleb Plant right now. He showed too many holes that a guy like Caleb Plant. Like, I felt like if Demon Nicholson uses a little bit more footwork and double and triple up the jab a little bit more, I think he can get underneath Edgar Berlanga. And I think the clinching was smart. Remember what I said last week? I said, you clinch, you come to the fire on a guy like that. You smother him. He was catching Berlanga with a lot of shots on the inside. He was making him tired. He was clinching him. He was doing things that he did not like. Berlanga did not like. Berlanga, they said, well, why didn't you get him out of there? Well, he tried to get him out of there, and he got up.
Yep.
My friend Devon Lee fought Demon Nicholson. I knew what type of fighter he was before he even got there. I said, Berlanga's not going to just walk to this guy like Caleb Bellows that's 40 years old.
Yep. Definitely. But I think Berlanga kind of needed that because he has, with all those first round knockouts, like I said last week, it's a blessing and it's a curse.
Yeah.
You don't gain that ring experience.
No.
And then this is exactly what happens. You come against a guy that you can knock out, then what do you got to do? Now you got to go into the toolbox and start pulling out other things that you could get. You got to start getting creative. You can't just rely on the knockout power. You got to start working angles forward. You got to be smarter in there.
I think a guy like Blue Andrade will give him a problem at 168. He's a puncher. And that's all I saw the night with Demon Nicholson. He's got power. He's got something you can't teach. but I'm not sold on his skill set yet. I've seen him spar in person. I'm not down talking to him, anything like that, because he's a nice guy. He's a very good guy. Showing a lot of maturity in post interview. He has to market himself. But I saw flaws. I saw delays. I saw things that, and that's just sparring. I'm not saying that's a fight, but I saw things that could be taken advantage of. I feel like if you get this guy thinking, how deep can he think? If you got a good educated jab and you counterpunch him all day and make him miss and then step back on him and clinch him and go to his body, step back out and make him box. Can he adjust?
Exactly.
It's his power the only adjustment he has, like a Golovkin that can only adjust with power. And then when he can't get to you, what is there left? He can't switch up his foot speed. I feel like there's some things that, the body shots are working on him. Did you notice? Like, did you see when he was getting hit with the body shots?
Yeah.
The body shots was making him more fatigued. I don't think Berlanga is used to getting hit in the body like that.
He doesn't get hit. His fights last a minute and a half.
Now, what happens when you get a guy like a Canelo? If he gets to that level, you got a guy like Canelo that will stand in the pocket with you, and when you throw a punch, he'll turn his head and he'll make it.
Yep.
And he'll make you miss, but then he'll rip your body. Canelo's body shots are savage.
And then he baits you with those body hooks. And when you start getting used to those body hooks and you think it's going down, he brings it up.
Or you got to see at 168 a guy that will play the game with you and throw punches with you and try to take you up like a puncher himself. Or a Benavidez who will throw a lot of punches at you. I think, Berlanga, I feel he could put Berlanga on the back leg. I think he's strong enough. I think he hits hard enough and he's fast enough to put Berlanga on the back leg. How can he deal with those variables? But we only will know as he starts going towards his prime.
Yeah. So let's see. What do you think is next for Berlanga? I don't think he's ready for a Benavidez.
I think Gabrizado or Danny Jacobs is a good fight.
I could see those matchups being good.
I think it's a good experience for him. It's good for resume if he can get through both of those guys. Hall of Famers, of course. A little bit older fighters. You got to understand, Gabrizado is 35 years old. He is 35 years old this year. He is 35. So I don't know what Gabrizado will show up against Edgar Berlanga. Danny Jacobs is turning 34. So, Berlanga has 10 years, or he has youth and power on those guys. So I don't know what can we really say? I mean, before the guys was, out of prime, I don't see him dealing with a plan. He cannot be calling the big dogs, the big four, the Fab Four at 168. There's a lot of killers at 168, and he's not the only one.
Yeah, he needs a few more fights and a few more longer than 1 round fights. I feel like this fight was the most experience he had in his whole boxing career. 17 fights?
And Devin Nicholson doesn't have pop like that. If Devin Nicholson had a little bit more pop, I think in a more consistent, more educated jab, I feel that he would gain Berlanga's respect. He gained his respect a little bit, but sitting in the pocket and catching him with things like that and wobbling with stuff, we never seen him hurt.
Yeah.
Now the time that we see him hurt, how does he react? If he gets dropped, imagine a guy like Andrade dropping him, catching him with a serious 4-punch combination and putting him down. How does Berlanga get up? How does his corner respond to him not being in a predicament where he has to actually be on defense mode and box and try to survive?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see. We'll see how Berlanga goes, where he goes from here, how he takes these lessons that he should grow from. I mean, he's still young. He's still got a lot of potential. So hopefully, we see a more.
It's not over with.
Yeah, we should see a more well-rounded fighter his next fight. We should see all those holes in his game patched up by then. So we also have, let's see, Mayweather versus Logan Paul for June 6th at Miami Dolphin Stadium. On the undercard, we got Pascal versus Jack 2 and Jarrett Hurd versus Luis Arias.
Jarrett Hurd at 160, right? I mean, at 154, right? Jarrett Hurd needs to go up in weight.
He's big.
It's not going to benefit his career if he starts fading because he keeps weight draining. He's going to shorten his career even. The more he keeps weight draining, and he's as big as some light heavyweights. I think that he needs to really go to 160. If Arias beats him and outboxes him, what's the excuse gonna be? I train too much weight. I sweat too much. To me, I just feel he just needs to go to 160. I think he's made his mark at 154.
Yeah.
Go to 160. You got Charlo, unless you're going to fight Charlo at 154, go up to 160. Fight the guys at 160 because it's not like you're a low-ranking fighter.
Yeah.
You're a big 160. You're even a big 168. There's 2 weight divisions waiting for you to arrive and see what you can do. Big fish, small pond.
Exactly. I like the Pascal Jack rematch. I like that. I like both fighters. I feel like Badu Jack is a good fighter, and he got the bad end of a couple of draws that he should have won.
Yeah.
Jean Pascal, he suffered those Kovalev losses, but he's still a good fighter. He's tough. They both rugged. They both come to bang.
Jean Pascal's too is a puncher like Kovalev, so you got a big puncher versus little puncher. We've seen fights like that with Golovkin and Curtis Stevens. So Curtis Stevens did catch Golovkin, and he caught Golovkin a lot of times. A lot of people don't remember that, but like I said, you're going to get the result like that. Mm-hmm. Big puncher, Triple G beat Lamune. Lamune beat a smaller puncher, punching Curtis Stevens. So we have the same to a Pascal. So I can't hold that against him for that loss. Mm-hmm. I don't see Bottle Jack. Bottle Jack to me doesn't make a lot of adjustments. I don't see him making a lot of adjustments to feet. You deal with a Pascal that's going to bum rush you, and both those you got to have footwork.
Yep, it's like a pit bull style.
I can see more head clashes. Pascal's there to make it ugly, and Pascal's probably got one of the best light heavyweight comebacks, probably out of that whole division in a long time. He's came back and became a champion. He beat Marcus Brown. He beat we just talked about him. Bottle Jack. I mean, yeah. He beat 2 top light heavyweights. He can do it again. And he can do it again with a shot. Now, Bottle Jack is good at counterpunching. But when you get him on the back leg, what does he have?
That's true. I mean, he hurt Stevenson when Stevenson was the man.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna win that fight. I think Badu Jack could have won that Stevenson fight if he didn't pull the trigger enough. I feel like he was riding out some storms too much, losing on points, and then when he finally started putting the pressure on, he had Stevenson hurt with a body shot.
Yeah.
And then at that time he was already tired, or it was already too late. It was the 11th round or something like that. So sometimes Badu Jack can be too conservative, and he needs to, start early, get in there early, and dictate the pace, and don't let Jean Pascal really, bully him. Because that's what he's going to try to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I said. Jean Pascal, he's going to bully him. Bottle Jack, like I said, back to adjustments. I don't see him making adjustments. What adjustments is he going to make that he hasn't made with DeGale? James DeGale was probably the best fight he had. That was the best competitive fight I've ever seen him have. And that's the best Bottle Jack I think that you're ever going to see. I mean, both of those guys, too, they're both in their late 30s. I think it's a good fight for both of them. Very low risk, high reward payday. They both deserve a good payday. And that's pretty much it.
All right. So what do you think about the Mayweather-Logan Paul fight?
Jump.
How do you see it playing out?
Mayweather beating up a cruiserweight that can't box.
He's gonna carry him. He's gonna make it look like it's competitive. He's gonna do what he did to Conor McGregor, right?
No. It's gonna be worse.
It's gonna be worse.
Conor McGregor can actually box a little bit.
The funny thing is, right, is that a lot of people don't believe that Mayweather carried McGregor for a couple of rounds. Think about it.
Mayweather is a smaller man. McGregor is a natural guy that's probably McGregor is a 168-pound guy fighting Mayweather that was 147. Have you seen the size difference between Mayweather and McGregor? Mm-hmm. It was quite obvious that somebody's a super middleweight and somebody's a welterweight. Yes, he did carry McGregor. How do you walk forward as a smaller man and back up a bigger man like that? That big, that strong coming from MMA. You beat him with experience. He ripped him to the body when he had to. He counterpunched him when he had to. He made him punch himself out. He did all the silly antics because he knew the toolbox was really limited. Now, Jake, like Logan Paul, is a joke. Yeah. I mean, he lost to another social media guy that outboxed him. They both were like two just guys swinging for the fences. I could see Mayweather jabbing him from the outside. Even Mayweather reach might be even longer.
He's gonna be ripping those body jabs. People don't realize how much Mayweather uses that body jab. That body jab is the most underutilized weapon in boxing.
It's hard to time it,
and it's a great weapon to use. He annihilated Diego Corrales with that body jab.
Yep.
And many people, especially when he was Pretty Boy Floyd.
He did it to Canelo too. And the thing about it was like Logan Paul is a bloated cruiserweight that's fighting the greatest fighter in probably the last two eras. My thing about it is Mayweather jabs him. Mayweather's reach is longer. He's a shorter man with longer arms, with better footwork and better skills. So it's going to be a mixture of Mayweather stabbing him to the body from the outside, going left, going right, playing with the footwork, playing mind games with him, you know, and then what happens after that is Logan Paul gets tired. He tries to throw something. He's off balance as usual, leaning forward.
Frustrated. He's going to get frustrated.
He sits in the pocket. Mayweather goes in the pocket, treats him like a sparring session, beats him up on the inside. Logan Paul just gets tired. And Logan Paul just gets a boxing lesson and gets a nice $100 million paycheck for taking an ass whooping by a smaller man that is probably 5 weights. Wait, what's okay? Let me count. Cruiserweight, light heavyweight, super middleweight, junior, super welterweight, 6 weight classes.
6 weight classes.
You're going to get backed down by a man 6 weight classes smaller than you, and I love to see it. I think the fight's garbage, and I don't think it's worth this dude getting paid $100 million. Mayweather, get whatever you want, you earned it. This dude doesn't even deserve $5,000.
Fair enough. So we got the Andy Ruiz, Chris Areola fight, pay-per-view, right? Buy or pass? What do you say?
I'm going to say Chris Areola and Andy Ruiz, buy. The reason why I say buy, they both been on Jared's menu. They've been eating Subway, and they're getting lean, and they're working out, and they're training. Andy Ruiz lost 35 pounds at least. He's more in shape. His legs look better. His feet are faster. To me, it's a good test because Chris Areola is not an easy guy to get out of there. Even fighting Wilder, taking Wilder's biggest punches. Yes, Wilder beat him. But the fact of the matter is that he still took Wilder's power. A lot of fighters don't just stand up and take Wilder's power.
Exactly.
Chris Areola is a tough fighter. He's going to try to make Andy Ruiz brawl. He can catch Andy Ruiz. If he makes it that type of dog fight, Andy Ruiz knows he has to be in shape, and he just has to outbox him. If he keeps it simple, outbox him. Don't slug with Chris Areola because Chris Areola likes those type of exchanges.
He's a real Mexican warrior.
And
true Mexican warrior right there.
And Andy Ruiz has got the Mexican spirit with Cuban boxing skills.
Exactly.
And he's a
very talented fighter.
He needs to just stay on his legs a little bit. They both have short arms, so I can see, he just has to be in and out and catch Chris Areola and counterpunch him and use his hand speed. If he uses hand speed, outbox him. It's going to be an easy 12 rounds, and then we can see him, a new resurgence. We can say maybe an AJ rematch. Maybe he can fight Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury and him were talking. So who knows if him and Tyson Fury fight? I would love to see that press conference because Tyson Fury is going to talk trash to Andy Ruiz, and Andy Ruiz's personality is not. He doesn't talk a lot. He's a very friendly guy, but the antics that Tyson Fury, that would be very entertaining. And then we can, maybe if he beats Anthony Joshua, we can see Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz rematch, best of 3, because he deserves a rematch.
Yeah.
He stopped in the first one, got outboxed the second one, being overweight. That's fine. Give him a third match.
I agree with you. He does deserve a third one. Also on the undercard, we have, I like this guy here, Sebastian, the towering Inferno Fondora versus Jorge Kota in a 12-round junior middleweight bout, right?
Oh, my God.
Sebastian Fondora is a junior middleweight that's 6'7", who could fight on the inside.
And knock dudes out on the inside.
He could fight on the inside. He could fight on the outside. The guy is like a freak of nature, 6'7", at 154 pounds. and he's a complete fighter. I feel like that he is going to be too much for Jorge Cota.
He's a mixture of like Paul Williams mixed with the stretch. Like Paul Williams was my
Mr.
size.
Fantastic.
Paul Williams, you know, it's funny. Paul Williams had a longer reach than Fondora. But Fondora is 6'7", and that's a lot of punching up to do.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you are. I sparred a pro that was, I'm not going to mention his name, pro cruiserweight. He was 6'6". That's a lot of punching up. Even if I made him miss and catch him out, some arms are longer than his. But people don't understand the height makes a difference. Even if the dude has shorter arms, it's hard punching up that way. That's why I respect Mayweather fight Diaz is 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has short arms, but he still was 6'1". And that's a lot of punching up to do. Fondora, you have to go to a body on a guy like that. And who's gonna jump up there and reach up there? I don't see him really getting beat unless he's going up. He's got to go to like middleweight. And then maybe he can get up and maybe bulk up, get older and bulk up and go to 168. This man could fight all the way up to like heavyweight.
Yeah.
Cruiserweight, maybe when he's an old man.
He's very skinny, but he's very young too.
He hasn't grown into his
body. But he will grow into his body. He's definitely going to be growing up through the divisions.
He's got good footwork too for 6'7". It's funny, but who the hell can he train with? He got to train with heavyweights, guys his height to even fight. You probably got to train with Tyson Fury just to go get good sparring.
I never seen a fighter that tall fight that well on the inside. His uppercut is nasty.
We can say Fury has a decent inside game, but not like Fondora. Fondora uppercut is.
He likes to fight on the inside, and he's good on the inside.
But the problem is a lot of people think 12 guys can't fight. Paul Williams is one of the guys that's fighting on the side. He'll beat you up on the side, throw 100 punches around.
Mm-hmm.
And I see why they want a Pacquiao to fight him. Because it's too much of the same thing. You got a lanky guy throwing as many punches as a shorter guy that's supposed to be in and out. And then he just bangs with like a guy that tall could throw that many. You don't see a lot of tall volume punches. You don't see lanky volume punches. That's a lot of punch recovery.
Yeah, exactly.
So for a dude like him, Fondora and a guy like Paul Williams, that's an alien. Nobody wants to fight guys like that. For throw the many punches around and that tall. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Also on the card, we have Landi Lara versus Thomas Cornflake Lamano, who we had on our podcast a few weeks ago. Shout out Cornflake. He's definitely gonna bring. I want him to bring this belt back over here. Come on, man. He's in the tri-state area. Let's go.
He's gonna make it a good fight.
He's definitely gonna make it a good fight. It's a 12-round. It's for the vacant WBA regular middleweight title.
Okay.
Landi Lara is not an easy fighter to fight. He comes from the Cuban school of boxing. He's a southpaw. He's very slick. He has good footwork. He might have slowed down a little bit, but he's still very high-level fighter.
My thing about it, too, and I love the Cuban style of boxing, I just feel with a guy like him, I feel has father time quarter with Lara. Lara was already a conservative fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a guy with a lot of punches. He'll throw his right jab and a right jab and straight left, or he'll throw a right hook and a straight left. Like he's a very 1-2 fighter. He's a guy that has to counterpunch you and pick you off. And now with the aging Lara, is Lara's lack of activity in the ring going to cost him against Cornflake? Cornflake can definitely, I feel, take advantage of the posing and the waiting to counter, because Lara's a counterpuncher. Yeah. He's a slick counterpuncher. How you beat a counterpuncher is you make them box. You make them never get set to trap you. You keep him from putting the traps on the ground, and you make him box, and you throw volume at him, and you go to the body and head. Not like a Maidana type. At least you land, but it's a good game plan for that. Take away his jab, punch him in the arm, go to the older man's body, go to Lara's body.
Yeah, take away his legs, because that he has very good footwork. You take away his legs, he's not gonna be able to get away. Then you forcing him to bang, and then you could pick him apart.
But now my question is, since watching the Jarrett Hurd fight with Lara, does Lara still have legs?
That's true. He was doing good, and then he got clipped too because he was standing in front of Lara.
And the thing about it is that, is he standing there because he wants to make it as a fight, or is he standing because he has no choice?
That's true.
How old is Lara?
We don't know. We don't know what was there. Maybe he had a little pride thing going on and say, you know what, I'm gonna stay in the pocket and bang, or maybe he's like, this is my only option. I can't get away.
But he did that with Angulo, but he moved his legs with Angulo and stopped Angulo. So the thing about it is that he learned from Angulo. So for me, he's not doing a rigging down that's trying to make a fan-friendly fight. I feel Lara is just staying in the pocket because this might be the only thing he can do. I think the old Lara's done.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. Maybe we can see a great fight, but I think Cornflake can do it. I think he can. I think that if he just stays consistent and tries to win on the score, not try to knock out Lara, because you're not going to knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to knock a guy out like that.
So Cornflake, if you're listening, best of luck. Bring that belt back over here to the tri-state area, bro. We also have on the card Eduardo Ramirez versus Isaac Avalar for a 12-round vacant WBA interim title. My boy, Omar Figueroa Jr. is fighting Abel Ramos for a 12-round welterweight fight. I like that. Omar Figueroa Jr. had some, unfortunate events. I believe he had a DWI, right? He was supposed to fight Broner. Yes. I had Omar Figueroa Jr. winning that fight against Broner.
Activity.
I feel like he would have outworked Broner. He would have definitely won a lot of rounds and made it really tough.
And that's sad, though, you say that, because everybody now knows the game plan. Outwork Broner.
That's it. So you got to do. And Omar Figueroa is a hard fighter to train for because he's very awkward. He throws a bunch of punches in different angles. He switches stances, so now you don't know which angle the punch is coming from, and he doesn't stop punching. He does not stop punching. His brother is the same way. I feel like Omar Figueroa Jr. is definitely going to get that. It should be a fairly easy win for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also have Jesus Alejandro versus Javier Molina in a 10-round bout. Adrian Granados versus Jose Luis Sanchez in an 8-round welterweight bout.
I like how Granados fights. Granados is a very tough dude. Granados for Broner. That was a good fight. I thought I had it a draw, but I can see how it went Granados' way. I felt like Granados is just tough. He can box. He got good footwork. And the good thing about Granados is that he will sit there and bang. Like he'll sit there, he'll sit right in the pocket with you for round after round.
Yep, definitely.
Shout out to Chicago.
Also, we have Carlos Negron versus Scott Alexander in an 8-round heavyweight bout. Fernando Angela Molina versus Prisco Marquez in a 6-round lightweight bout. And then on the zone, we go back to from the beginning what we were talking about. Derek Chizora versus Joseph Parker. Who you think is going to win that one right there?
Joseph Parker. Intelligence, skills. I want to see Usyk versus Joseph Parker. I feel like there's a blueprint to beat Derek Chisora. Don't get me wrong, Derek Chisora can beat Joseph Parker if he lands the right shot. The thing about Derek Chisora is that he's a nasty fighter. He's a fighter that's going to he's going to throw things. He's going to club you. He's going to push you. He's going to bump you. He's going to Derek Chisora is not a guy to be nice to you in the ring.
It's just like when he fought Usyk, he was like throwing anything he can and trying to just barrel through, and he didn't get.
But he caught Usyk a couple of times. And the thing about Derek Chisora is that he's a puncher. He's a swarm. He's a brawler. Mm-hmm. So he's a brawler style. So I mean, you're going to get a brawler when you fight Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is trying to knock you out from bell to bell. He's not trying to box you. He's not trying to keep it neat. Derek Chisora is trying to knock you out.
He's trying to make it a fast and easy night for himself.
And his knockouts are serious.
So the co-main event, we have Dimitri Bivol versus Craig Richards in the 12th round for Bivol's WBA super light heavyweight title.
Super light heavyweight?
The WBA super title.
Super title,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they do have a super.
Yeah, they have a super title. WBA has super.
They have lightweight title. They have a regular title. They have the super title.
Yeah, they have regulars, interims. They have all these names, franchise titles for the WBC. I don't know anymore, man.
Yeah, so many belts.
It's way too many belts. I mean, it's way too many belts because you have multiple belts in the same division from the same, sanctioning body. I could get it. Okay, the 4 sanctioning bodies. Okay, fine. But now when you have a WBC. Champ in recession, then you have a WBC franchise champ in the same weight division, and then it's like
the French fry belt.
the French fry belt.
And that's what I said. Like, Bivol going to do his thing. I want to see better than Bivol. That's what I want to see.
That's a good fight.
They both ranked high. I don't know where Bivol is ranked at. Maybe he's ranked at number 3, number 4 on some other bodies. But I think we need to see that fight. I think that if Canelo take care of business at 168, he might be going to legacy. He might get a Bivol fight at 170 or 175. Because he is ranked up there. He's still ranked at 175.
Yeah.
Canelo Bivol will be a very interesting fight.
I would like to see that one play out.
What can Bivol do to adjust to Canelo? That's my question. I know what Canelo can do. But what I want to see, look, Bivol's a good fighter. I can't knock a man that wins, but I need to see more.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see more.
I don't really see anybody beating Canelo right now.
No.
And unless he tries to do something crazy and go to heavyweight.
Marcus Brown probably has the best chance at 175 of beating a Canelo.
Mm.
He's athletic. He's got good footwork. He's got good punch combinations. He just came off a good win.
Okay.
Bivol, Marcus Brown.
Oh, that would be good.
It can be a great fight. I think Marcus Brown's more athletic. Can he counter the athleticism?
Marcus Brown's a beast. I saw him fight at Nassau Coliseum. I covered the fight.
Yeah.
That guy is legit. So we also have James Tennyson versus Giovanni Straffin in a 12-round lightweight bout. Then we have Katie Taylor versus Natasha Jonas in a 12-round bout for Katie Taylor's WBC, WBO, IBF, and WBA women's lightweight titles. Katie Taylor is going to put on, she's gonna take her to school, I think. Katie Taylor looks better every fight. She definitely grows, gains experience, and brings something new to every fight. She's definitely something to look out for and watch. We also have Chris Eubank Jr. versus Marcus Morrison in a 10-round middleweight bout. What do you think about Chris Eubank?
Chris Eubank is very, very entertaining. I mean, he's almost as entertaining as his father. Chris Eubank, you expecting antics with Chris Eubank Jr. Like, I feel like he'll do what it takes. He'll do what it takes, and he'll get the win. I don't count him out.
Okay. Now, if he wins that fight, Eubank has been saying he wants Triple G next. Do you think, that's something that can possibly go down?
Absolutely. I've been waiting for that for years. And I think that can be happening. That can be marketed. I mean, they both got losses.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? It's a fight that we want to see. I can see Chris Golovkin can catch Eubanks or something. His jab, I think, can neutralize Eubanks if he really pushes for it. But I do feel that Eubanks can make Golovkin look really silly and robotic. I mean, he can, because Eubanks is good at counter punching and throwing slick uppercuts. And
he's fast.
He's fast,
and he throws some creative combinations.
And his defense is great.
Yeah.
It's unorthodox, but it's great. Like, he'll make you. Chris Eubanks makes you. Like, his defense is like his dad's defense. Like, he'll just play with you and then catch you with stupid punches out of nowhere, like overhand right or something, and then slide out and then turn and make you.
Speaking on, sons of boxers, Conor Benn. You seen Conor Benn's last fight? He's the, son of Nigel, the Dark Destroyer Benn. He's good.
He got a mean knockout. I mean, mean stoppage last week.
He has power. He has stamina. He puts his hands together very well. He knows how to speak. He knows how to market himself.
Yeah,
I see him. He's going to be doing some big things in the boxing ranks. Also, we have another son of Ricky Hatton, Campbell Hatton versus Levy Dunn in a 4-round junior lightweight bout.
He's fast. His son's fast.
Yeah,
his son got fast hands. I seen him training. Like, his son's good. Like, I feel like I don't know if he'll be up to the tier of his father, but it's a good, second generation fighter. We'll see how good he does. We don't know what he can do.
Yeah,
but I know he's tough as his dad.
I wanna see how he fares in this bout. So we also have Johnny Fisher facing a to be announced opponent, which is going to be a heavyweight bout. We also have Scott Fitzgerald versus Gregory Chanel in a 6-round super middleweight bout. And in boxing news, we have Ryan Garcia withdrawing from the Fortuna fight for health and well-being.
Oh, wow.
But then they see him with some of these Instagram, ladies living it up on vacation. Does he really have some issues going on?
A lot of these fighters are doing stuff for Instagram. And they want to live a hip-hop lifestyle in the world of boxing, which is a recipe of disaster. This is why we have Logan and Jake Paul.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you have Instagram and, you have Instagram and that's the problem.
I feel like that wasn't fair for Javier Fortuna, man. That was a good fight for Fortuna. Could have been, a nice little payday for him. Seeing what he could have did. Maybe he could have hurt Ryan. Who knows? But I just, we saw Ryan Garcia call everybody and their mother out. Then he gets the Fortuna fight. And then
Ryan Garcia
he withdraws. So
they're putting too much hype behind Ryan Garcia. They're trying to make him to be the next De La Hoya. I don't see him as the next De La Hoya. He's not.
De La Hoya was better equipped to fight southpaws. He had
better chin too.
He had a mean jab and a mean left hook because he's naturally a lefty. Switched over fighting in a righty stance. So that's why he had such a hard jab and such a hard left hook.
Well, De La Hoya too. He had basic great fundamentals that got him through the '92 Olympics.
Yeah,
I don't see like my thing about it, right? De La Hoya was not a lot of things, but one thing you can say De La Hoya was fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
Basic jab, basic stance. Didn't have a lot of special effects. Like his defense wasn't that flashy. His power wasn't too dramatic. His hand speed, he had decent hand speed, but it wasn't blazing.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the most technical, but he beat you with discipline and pure fundamentals. He reminds me of, I don't want to compare them to, because they're a little bit different. One's bigger than the other. Andre Ward, De La Hoya, are guys that are just very basic meat and potato fundamentals, discipline, good cardio, good chin, good intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Their intelligence and fundamentals got them to the Olympics. What was it? 04 Olympics. That was Andre Ward. De La Hoya 92 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
They got there because of fundamentals, and they never forgot their fundamentals. They're not like fighters. I'm not mentioning names where they had footwork as amateurs, and they were flat-footed as pros. It's like they threw their whole entire things that got them where they're at out the window because maybe they punched hard or
they went backwards.
A lot of fighters went backwards after amateurs. I felt like I hate to say this too. Matter of fact, I'll screw it. I'll say it. Mike Tyson had better footwork as an amateur than he did as a pro. Golovkin did too.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was insane. Insane. So many people when Mike Tyson came out, a lot of people thought that he was doing incorrect things, crossing his feet. They didn't see the subtle intricacies there. They didn't see the beauty of his footwork, of those shifts.
But Tyson but if you see a guy cross his feet, whatever, they didn't work on. The one thing about it, they did with Tyson what they did with George Foreman. You hit hard, you got accuracy. Tyson, you hit hard, you got accuracy, you got hand speed, you're getting guys out of here. Mm-hmm. Why do we need to work on your footwork and you going on back leg? And that's a horrible thing to do because you cut a guy's career short because you're basically building a resume to get your fighter beat.
Exactly.
We know that Tyson's footwork was better than amateurs because the scoring system was different. Yeah, the point system, but he should have kept some of that behind him because the thing about it, I don't feel like Holyfield would have touched him if he had better mobility.
Yeah, He wasn't moving his legs. He was just moving his upper body
and dragging his feet and shuffling, and then maybe you have a hop. Mike Tyson had a shuffle, 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 a hop, a pivot.
Yep.
A switch, and that was it. Once a guy knows that, he knows that, but you can't go backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Regis Prograis wants Adrian Broner next. That would be a good name for Prograis. I mean, he might be able to outwork Broner.
Prograis, I want to tell you about Prograis. Prograis is probably going to be the only fighter that's going to make Adrian Broner let his hands go because of simple pride. I think that fight is going to be all pride. Broner's not going to lay on a rope and have lazy habits.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to sit here and just power a right hand and left hook, look for a left hook and a right hand all day. He's going to make him use his jab. He's going to try to prove to Regis Prograis that he can outbox Regis Prograis. Can he? Yes. But Regis Prograis is going to be there to say, okay, prove who you are. He's going to be a tough opponent for Adrian Broner. Who gasses first? Who gets tired first? I want to see Regis Prograis' gas tank tested. I don't know if Broner can throw a lot to do that, but we don't know. Could this be a fight for Broner out of just pure pride and just let his hands go and dig deep and stay in the pocket with him? Maybe. I think Broner relies on staying in the pocket. I think he can hurt Regis Prograis.
You make really good points. And do you remember the Ashley Theophane and the Broner fight, right?
Yep.
You said pride, right? What happened? Mayweather was pressing buttons with Broner, right? On that, he went in there with a chip on his shoulder and he annihilated Ashley Theophane.
You know what's so funny when you say the chip on your shoulder, right? And I'm not on the level of these pros or anything like that. You know what I mean? I had a full amateur, like, I have a few amateur fights, exhibitions and so forth. I'm gonna say for the gym, me and you go to the gym, we spar all type of fights. Pros, amateurs, whoever, right?
Yep, anybody.
So
any weight division, I don't care.
If a coach tells me you can't deal with this pro, there's a switch that goes off in my brain. Especially if I'm not cool with the guy. I'm gonna get, before you see me spar sometimes, I drop hands, play with guys, I try to carry some guys.
Yeah.
But then you see me spar a pro, and I'm a whole different guy. Because I'm tighter, my jab is stiffer, it's sharper. I'm trying to jab through that pro's head. I'm hitting him with pot shots spot on. I have something to prove in the gym. So now imagine if that's a fight. Now it's not just trying to prove a point and outbox this dude in the gym. The fight, I'm trying to knock this dude out. And that switch, that killer, you've been in the ring more than me, Mello.
Yeah.
That killer instinct turns on like this.
Exactly.
It goes from, okay, and it just happens when you hit a dude with a punch. That's it. And you don't load up. And you sit on it real fast and just let it go. And that's pride.
Yep.
Pride. You cannot fight in the ring and have pride. I don't like when guys tell me, if a dude came to me, be like, oh, I'm a kick fighter, I'm a kickboxer, I do this. All right, cool. Now you're gonna make me find a way to punch you in the face every single round, and I don't care what kicks you do. I'm gonna slide out the way. I'm gonna check that shit. And I'm gonna catch you with something that you don't see coming.
I'll eat a leg kick to land across.
Right over the top. Bing.
Right over
the top. Go.
I'll step in as you kick into lessen it. I'll step in at an angle, eat the leg kick, and I'm landing my two. I'm landing my left cross. That's it.
I've had guys tell me that my jab can't touch them because their kicks are so fast and so deadly. I said, last person that tried to kick me into the body, I caught them a left hook and dropped them in the gym. I said, that's cool, but that comes with pride. I said, okay, well, prove it. You take your shin guards off. I keep my boxing shoes on. And don't let me get on the inside. Because if you miss, or if that leg kick is not devastating enough, and your footwork not that good, the nose is there, the body's there. And when I get to the body, you already know the body's bread and butter for us in boxing. And we love the body.
Oh, I'm the body snatcher, man. That's it. I'm the self-proclaimed body snatcher.
And don't try to tie clinch too, because I'm gonna shift that shit and shoot an uppercut right down the middle and throw a hook over the top and bump you.
I'm good with the tie clinching too.
Oh yeah, pure posture up, all that.
So I sparred a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah.
With kicks. And I sparred I remember one time I sparred a Taekwondo black belt. I knew how to throw kicks and everything. I was doing Muay Thai at the time. I did not throw one kick, and I beat him up on my hands the whole time.
Easy.
And he was throwing so many kicks, and none of them were doing nothing.
Look, let me tell you something. Distance is distance. Unless you're going to throw 100 roundhouses like the dude from the Street Fighter, and don't be over 160 pounds telling me that you're going to throw 100 kicks and 100 leg kicks and head kicks and all that shit. I might be dirty. I might catch that kick all the way up there and push you into the rope off that one leg.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is like now is something to prove. Because I didn't spar guys. I sparred a kung fu guy. The dude said that his style was so dangerous that he couldn't wear boxing gloves. So what I did,
he couldn't wear boxing gloves because his style was so dangerous.
I said, put on the MMA gloves. I beat the brakes off that boy. I beat him around the whole entire dojo. I literally just walked him with his overhand right, bang, body shot, jab to the nose, boom, overhand all day.
I went to another gym where they had MMA fighters there, right? They were fighting pro. They're pro MMA fighters, right?
Yeah.
This guy, let me not throw names out there, right? Let's not talk name drop and sparring. Anyway, I went to this school. I went to their school. And I said, oh, I heard you got a fight coming up. You want me to spar with you, right? So we sparred boxing. He's heavier than me by like 20, 30 pounds. He got lit up. He ate every single punch that I threw. Uppercuts, hooks. He wasn't landing not one single punch.
Yeah, because you know what, Melo, you train different arts. Once you start moving the fight, see the thing about it. I sparred a MMA fighter. The thing about I didn't mention his name, but when you only got a forward and backward gear, you back up like a car, like back up, charge forward. Like you get used to it a little time. I said, okay, when he takes the second step back, I'm gonna shoot a jab to his chest. And then when he comes back, I'm gonna take a half step to the right, and I'm gonna shoot a right hand when he comes this way, right across the jaw. Hang all day. But speaking about that though, what do you think about Jake Paul's antics at UFC and getting
booed? With the Daniel Cormier thing, man, he needs to calm down already. He's trolling the boxing community. That's what he's pretty much doing.
And MMA.
And you know what? It's paying him. But Broner, so we talk about Broner, he hears what Triller is paying and he's considering it.
Well, if he lets his hands go, he probably get a huge payday.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? Maybe Triller might really start picking up some.
Maybe a Danny Garcia and Adrian Broner fight.
I feel like that last card was like a dry run, and they need to learn from that. But it has potential, to hit a wider audience. You know what I'm saying?
Adrian Broner can do Triller because he raps, so we can see him rap to the ring. We can see the antics. Give him a good opponent. Give him a opponent, maybe a puncher, somebody like that, where he can counter punch him. Like a puncher with not that great defense, and he can look really good and show off, someone slow. Maybe But my thing about what they're gonna pay Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner can't come to them talking about $20 million. They're not paying $20 million. Because they're going to say, well, social media star has a bigger draw than you.
That's very true.
But there's a problem. People pay to see Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner maybe versus a Jake Paul, but that would never happen because Jake Paul would lose. You wouldn't want to see Jake Paul get knocked out welterweight. I mean, it's junior welterweight. Maybe a Hall of Famer versus Adrian Broner. Ricardo Mayorga versus Adrian Broner.
We're in the season of exhibitions right now. That's the thing.
I want to see Ricardo Mayorga versus Adrian Broner. That's all I want to see.
I used to like Ricardo Mayorga. When he fought Trinidad, he had the red hair. He just smoke in the ring. That guy was a nut.
He didn't fight the Trinidad with the high top fade though. The high fade. That was knocking everybody out.
Yeah. So also we have David Lemieux versus David Zagara set for June 4th. Jaime Munguia versus Selecki is rescheduled for June 19th.
Okay.
And added to that card, we have Bechdemere Malikusev versus Gabrizado. So Gabrizado's fighting soon. I like Jaime Munguia. I think he's a good fighter. I think he
he beat the Saddam Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He beat Saddam Ali. He was supposed to be like a fill-in, and he annihilated him.
The thing about it, everybody was complaining about Saddam Ali, and he was like, "Oh, he's too small." But Saddam Ali walks around as big as him.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you saw his. I don't know if it was his last fight or the one before that.
Yeah.
He landed a mean uppercut and split the guy's lip open. It looked like a upside down V.
You know who I would like to see? I know he might be a little bit too small, but in the future he could go up in that weight class. 168. Mangia versus Balenga.
Ooh.
I want to see both listers.
That would be a good fight.
That would be one of those trilogy fights that we can see in the next couple of years. If Berlanga can stay at 168 and Manguia can go to 160 and 168.
There you go, and you got that Puerto Rican Mexican rivalry, so that fight is gonna sell.
Oh man, you're gonna see
that fight is gonna sell.
Puerto Rican versus Mexican rivalry. You're gonna see chairs flying through the ring. You're gonna see fights, everything.
So Jaime Munguia, I feel like he's a strong fighter. He's tough. He hits hard. He moves okay. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he can still grow as a fighter.
Yeah.
He still lacks certain things that as he moves up and fights harder opposition, they're gonna expose those flaws. But I feel like he's still a good fighter. He's still young. He's still learning, and if he makes those adjustments and just keeps growing,
yeah,
he could have a good career.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I said. Like Manguia, I mean that's wishful thinking. Maybe a Golovkin versus Manguia. They was talking about that a while ago, but it never happened.
True.
I mean, Manguia don't be wrong. Manguia hit hard enough. If there's someone to stop Golovkin, it'd be a Manguia.
Maybe he's a big dude too. Jojo Diaz, Joseph Diaz Jr. was willing to step in to fight Javier Fortuna.
Wow, that's crazy.
What do you think about that fight?
It could work. I think it could work. I mean, Diaz is tough though. Like Diaz will just take you to the trenches, and he's that type of fighter. Like you better come in shape.
Mm-hmm. He has good stamina because he stays busy like the whole fight. He really does stay busy the whole fight, and he'll just pick away and pick away and pick away. Michael Conlon is fighting Ayonna Baluta on Friday in London on ESPN Plus. Let's see. There's talks of maybe Tyson and Lewis in September.
Oh my gosh! It's like what's this? Like another meeting at the barbecue. I mean, Lennox Lewis jab around, lazy jab, hadn't fought in 20 years. Mike Tyson, patient waiting, lunging and looping and lunging with punches. Lennox Lewis holding him. Oh, it's a horrible fight.
Yeah.
Horrible exhibition. I don't want to see it. Let those men. I mean, the only thing I want to see those guys do is make money and take care of their families more. Just let them get their money.
Okay. Fair enough. Shakur Stevenson versus Jeremiah Nakathila is moved to Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotels. We also have Oscar Valdez, undefeated, 29-0, versus Robson Conceição, who's 16-0, in the works for August or September. Conceição defeated Valdez in 2009 as an amateur, so Valdez is going to be seeking revenge.
I mean, I don't know. Like that, it ain't too exciting for me, that fight.
Valdez is just gonna. I feel like
it's gonna be predictable.
Like, Valdez was. I became a big fan of Valdez when he fought Scott Quigg, and he broke his jaw, and he prevailed, and he won.
Yeah.
Right. Then he switched with Eddie Reynoso's camp, and he's like a completely different fighter.
We gotta see Fight Night.
You see that? Like you saw him. Look at Valdez in the Scott Quigg fight, right? Standing in there, banging everything, right? Brawl. His heart won him that fight, right? Broken jaw, didn't stop, fought all the way to the 12th with a broken jaw, couldn't even close his jaw, and won. Then look at the last fight he had.
Yeah.
Footwork, moving backwards, forwards. You know,
Well, they worked on those little things he can, but it's like
he was more patient.
But do you think he's going to go back to his old self when the going gets tough?
That's true too. You see, I know when you're in the ring and you get clipped, you go with autopilot. So whatever you do on the heavy bag, if you drop in your hand on the heavy bag, you get hit. That's what you're gonna do. That's why I always tell people when you're training, stay tight, whatever,
and you spar and work on your clinch work.
Yes,
because a lot of guys too they get hurt, and it's normal cheese ball. I said, let me tell you something. I'm worried about getting that knockdown count and then grabbing a guy. That's why I respect guys in Mayweather. He don't care what the fans say. When Mosley caught him with that last bullet, he grabbed him. He knew he was going down. Grabbed him, held him, got the break, went around the ref the other way, got the bigger, and bought time for himself.
Oh, by the way, talking about that, my trainer one time had us doing a drill. He said, sometimes if you're tired in the ring or whatever, there's 3 people in that ring. Use that ref. Use your footwork to get the ref in the way to create space. Yeah. Little things like that you could do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, clinch, head pull, walk off the back door, walk around to the middle of the ring, take that deep breath.
If you're taller, weigh on him.
Oh, I do that all the time.
That kills the legs.
Lean. You see me sprawl my boy. My boy's 5'10", back of his neck all the time.
Yeah.
But you see also fainting.
I use a lot of feints. I use my voice as a feint. I use my footwork as a feint. See, people don't think about using the voice. I'll throw shots and you ha 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 ha. And after a while you hear that, I'll just shoot one up, ha, and you jump.
And then fire right back, yeah.
So Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua might be in jeopardy. They don't have the Saudi Arabia site deal. Is not done yet.
Why don't they just go to old school arena?
Yeah. And then also Fury and Wilder mediations restart. And Bob Arum was in attendance with Fury.
Fury, see the thing about it, they show a little mid work that Wilder was doing. See, that all looks good, but what happens when he can move? Mm-hmm. We know Wilder got speed. We know he got power, but what are those legs doing?
Exactly. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see if we're going to see Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. We're going to see Fury and Wilder. Who knows? Things are up in the air right now. That's pretty much it. So I really want to see that Oscar Valdez fight, though. I want to see if he really does keep going with his new skill set and doesn't revert back. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening in this week. You know, follow us on the AB News Boxing YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. You can follow me at Southpaw Mellow. Des, anything you want to say?
You definitely will see myself in Southpaw Mellow. We definitely have more content for you in the future, man. We come learn some skills, some tools. Stay tuned. You know, we definitely gonna put our pages together and teach boxing. That's it. So follow AB Boxing News on YouTube. Follow Southpaw Mellow on YouTube. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Got it. That's it. Good. Woo.